What's going on, everybody? Happy Victory Monday if your team won this weekend. And if your team didn't win, then don't worry, there's always next week. But I'm coming to you guys for my little quick initial thoughts on the Seahawks game. Now, obviously, tonight we record the podcast. It'll be out tomorrow where we talk about all the games. But as I've been doing every week, I'm going to talk about Seattle a little bit and put it out online. I'm currently dying right now in this Texas heat. You would think it's August right now, but yeah. So, guys, we won the game, and if you don't think this was not a crucial game for the Seahawks, then I don't know what season you've been watching. This game was a must-win game. Seattle came into this game 1-2, and at this point in the season, it's usually not that big of a concern, but with how the NFC West has been, you cannot go 1-3. Just historically, going 1-3 gives you a very slim chance of making the playoffs. Now, granted, it's a longer season this year, so, are the historical stats going to really keep up or whatever? But the point is, with the way the Cardinals are playing, the Rams are playing, this is not a division where you want to fall to 1-3. Now, we won the game. We are now 2-2. And then also, the Cardinals won, which is what you should have wanted as a Seahawks fan. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. This is subjective maybe. But I believe that the bigger long-term threat for this season is the Rams. I think the Cardinals are really good, and they show some great moments of, just on offense and defense, just great things. But all together, from what we've seen from this coach, because it's really the coach I don't trust, I don't believe that they're going to finish at top of the NFC West. I think Seattle's going to finish at top of the NFC West. I'm a Seahawks fan, obviously, but I'm saying outside of Seattle, I think the number one competition is still the Rams. So this loss was really good for them, or for Seattle, that the Rams lost, because that's our competition. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe the Cardinals have fixed their consistency issues. Maybe, their coaching isn't going to be as bad this year. I don't know. But we've seen an Arizona team last year that would dominate teams, really impressive, and then out of nowhere lose to the Lions. So I'm waiting on this Cardinals team till I see it consistently. And I know you're probably saying, well, normally I'm going to guess this is most Seahawks fans that are watching this, so not normally you would be saying, but Cardinals fans would be saying, when is it enough? When is it enough? And honestly, that's a good question. Let me see it a couple more weeks. But yeah, basically my point is this. And side note, I'm not saying the Cardinals have to go undefeated, because you can lose and still look good. I'm saying let me see this consistency. Don't go throwing a dud out there. But Seattle won the game. They beat the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. Now, I don't know if you understand how important that is. Now, granted, I know over the last 16 games, Seattle is 14-2 against San Fran. We've had some good runs against San Fran lately, which is great, because, that's an incredible strength, or, what's what I'm looking for here, but it's a great thing to have going into the game, because it gives us confidence, and it also can be in the head of the San Fran players. We played great in some aspects, but however, there was a lot of things to be worried about in this game. The first 5 drives were 3-and-outs, and that's scary. I remember seeing the game, and I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm screaming at the TV oh, look, so normally we start fast and our defense can't keep up, but now we're starting slow and our defense is playing. It's like we can't have both at the same time. It's only one or the other. And I was pretty upset, and luckily my wife was there to calm me down and just be chill. Now, I will say this. This is kind of weird, right? So the first week I wore my throwback Seahawks jersey, and then the next 2 weeks I wore it, and we played really well in the beginning of the games. But then to this week, I wore my normal home jersey, and we were playing trash. And I said to my wife, let me go throw my throwback back on. I don't know, superstitions, right? And as soon as I throw it back on is when we started driving. We scored our touchdown, and everything got really good. I literally put it on right before the first touchdown in the second quarter, but unrelated, right? So what I saw from this team is the offensive line still scares me. San Fran has a good defensive line, but man, that protection just was not there. Every time that we really needed a crucial play, Russell was either under pressure or he got sacked. Now, granted, sometimes he was under pressure and he still made the play happen. That beautiful touchdown where he snaps the ball, immediately spins out of a sack, throws it right to Freddie Swain at the sideline of the end zone, and it's literally only where he can catch it. But That's not good. We cannot rely on Russ to just keep escaping. Like, I'm sorry. Russ is still Russ, but at the same time, he's at year 10, and his agility is a little bit less. Like, he used to get out of a lot more sacks than he does now, and I'm not saying, like, he's slow or lost a step, but I don't know. I just think that he needs to be given more blocking. Like, we need to block for him better. Some passes that weren't caught that were beautiful. Like, there was one to DK Metcalf down the right sideline, right in the breadbasket, right there, and he dropped it. And you could look at the cornerback and see that he kind of slapped his arms after the ball hit his hands. But, dude, you got to catch that ball. There was missed opportunities on offense, missed opportunities on defense. We still got the win. And what's the one good thing, and I like to really, point out these because as Seahawks fans, we've had a lot of bad things over the last couple years. So the good things make us feel better, right? Despite how badly we played, if you really look at this game, it was a blowout. Like, I know that it finished 28-21, but let's honestly look at how this game actually went down. We started slow, first 5 drives, 3 and outs, get the ball, score right before halftime. Okay, then we score 14 more points in the third quarter. It's now 21-7, okay? And then we get to 28-13 at one point. And the only reason they get to 13 is because of blown coverage that is on Jamal Adams. I don't care who he was trying to yell at on the field. But basically, Debo did a dig route. Actually, no, he did the wheel route. I'm sorry. He did a wheel route where he basically went out to the flat like a wheel like that. So he goes out to the flat and then he goes up. And Jamal went with him to the flat, but then started pointing back like somebody hop on him, but there was no one there. Complete miscommunication. Debo's wide open. You take away that wide open play, and it's 28-7 until the final 2 minutes of the game. And in the final 2 minutes of the game, it's garbage time. Defenses are not playing their best defense when they know the game is in the bag. You can agree or disagree with how logical that is, because you might be like, nah, never give someone a chance to score. But sometimes that's just how it is. Defenses play soft coverages. They want to keep their energy in case they actually do end up needing it. They don't want to play too close and give up a big play. So you could basically chip away on a prevent defense. Now, granted, you're going to drive down the field and score pretty easily. However, you're going to take a lot more time because you're not going to do it in one big play. So, as you saw with the Niners, they did chip away. Bang, 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 driving down the field, play after play after play after play. But the thing is, it took off a lot of time from the clock and the game was over. But if Seattle really would have tightened up their defense and they didn't have that miscommunication play, this is a 28-7 game while playing extremely poor in some areas of the ball. And I'm just, I'm pretty excited for that. We need to get our offensive line really figured out. I don't know what we have to do. The trade deadline is until week 7. And I keep saying it. We have so much depth at running back. You need to go ahead and find one of them teams that are struggling at running back and go ahead and make a trade. Now, I'm not saying get rid of Chris Carson. I'm not saying get rid of Alex Collins. I'm just saying that the fact that Alex Collins has really separated himself from the other backups should tell you, like, hey, we're good with Alex Collins and Chris Carson. Let's go ahead and maybe get rid of somebody over there that can help us get some depth at offensive line. The defense played much better. However, there was still some stuff that was not so happy about it. Neal played well. The guy that came in for Trey Flowers, and his name's slipping me right now. It's one of them hyphenated names, I believe. I know every Seahawks player normally, so if I don't know a guy's name, that's how you know he came out of nowhere. But he actually played pretty well. He had some plays he missed on the very first drive. He gave up the touchdown. But again, this guy is not the starter. He hasn't been the starter. And on the very first drive, on their planned out drives that they came into the game with, that's normally why the first couple drives always look so clean for a team. That's what they practiced nonstop. They're coming out, they're doing that, no adjustments, just straight up doing those drives. And they did it, and they capitalized, and they scored. That's fine and dandy. But after that play, he really seemed to have locked down and got really into the game and played much better. Bobby Wagner was out there making incredible plays, a beautiful acrobat type pass deflection where he dove and smacked the ball out of the way. Jamal Adams actually had a couple good plays. Definitely need some more out of him for how much we paid for him and how much we're paying him. We need more than just the occasional sack. We need him to really get better at pass coverage, and hopefully Diggs is going to help him with that. He's back there with a really good safety. I think Quandre Diggs is completely underrated. He would be a starter on any team in the NFL, maybe minus one or two that have all-stars on their defense. But I just really hope that, Quandre Diggs is really going to rub off on Jamal in practice, and we can see that start to translate, because Jamal Adams athletically is one of the best safeties in the entire NFL, and if you can mix in good coverage with his other abilities, he could be the most dangerous safety in the NFL. He's not that right now, but he's young and has a lot of room for improvement, and that's what Seattle sees, and that's why they paid what they paid for him. So let's be honest, it's a good move. No matter what you agree with the first-round draft picks, it's all said and done. You can't take it back. It's a good move. We'll take it. Tyler was pretty much inefficient in this game. He really didn't do much. DK had the touchdown, but other than that, he really didn't have much out there. Like I said, he had some drop passes. Freddie Swain is continuing to impress me. He is constantly showing up week after week, and I'm really liking this young guy. And Alex Collins with the touchdown run, it really makes you happy when you can say, like, wow, we finally have someone to compliment Chris Carson. And I know before you get mad at me and say, what do you mean finally? We've had, Rashad Penny. We've had all the way back to Thomas Rawls. Yeah, all these guys have had to also cover for Carson when he's injured. We never really use him as a two-headed monster. We have had one game here and there where, like, Rashad Penny has a really good game or something like that. But these last 3 weeks of the season already, Carson and Collins have been working well together, going out there, and when Carson's not playing that well, Collins takes over. When Collins isn't playing that well, Carson takes over. And it also keeps our guys' legs fresh, and that's the goal. Chris Carson's legs can be fresh. He can last longer. He's not going to get injured. Same thing with Collins if they're constantly in and out and they're getting that break. Russ played great despite, the not putting a lot on the numbers. It was efficient. No turnovers yet again. No interceptions yet again. He didn't throw much. He only had like 180 yards or something like that, but he did what he had to do, and we scored 28 points. Like, I don't care if you have 7 yards. If you score 28 points, you did what you needed to do. But yeah, I'm excited about this Thursday night game coming up. I'm going to leave you guys with this. This is the most important game of our season right now. Like, beyond anything we've played and anything in the foreseeable future, because the reason I say that is because if this game is a loss, then all those games in the future end up being not as important, because it's hard to overcome this. This is an important game at the quarter mark of the season, because the quarter mark now is like 4.5 games or whatever. 4 out of 17, right? 4 17ths, or 4/17 is the fraction, right? So we're not at the quarter, but the fifth week won't be the quarter either. It'll be past it. So sorry for that, going off on that tangent. But my point is, this is a very important game. It's in Seattle, and it's primetime. Now, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know that Russ has one of the best at-home primetime game records. So does Pete Carroll. Seattle at primetime at home rarely lose. But there's one team we will lose to when it's at home, and it's the Cardinals. Or the Rams. The Rams and the Cardinals. I wasn't wrong for saying the Cardinals, but obviously we're playing the Rams this week. But my point is, those are the two teams that we've struggled with at home over the years. They're our division rivals. Am I worried because the Cardinals just went out there and whooped the Rams' ass? No, not really, because I told y'all in the podcast, NFC West games will always be strong battles, and any team can win. We used to be 13-3, and the 8-8 Rams would beat us with Jeff Fisher as the coach. Like, it doesn't matter what your record is in the NFC West. It doesn't matter who your players are. If you're injured, like, when it's NFC West teams, y'all play hard. And sometimes it's a blowout. We've blown out the Niners before. The Cardinals just blew out the Rams. But sometimes the team that ain't supposed to win wins, and sometimes the team that's supposed to win wins. Like, it's anything. It's a coin flip, and who knows? I know that the key to this is going to be offensive line. Like, Aaron Donald's not playing. He's going to cause problems. And Floyd is a problem. Like, we need to be able to block that offensive line. But the best part about this is that the Cardinals just beat them really well. So now we have film for that. And Russell is one of the best quarterbacks in the game when it comes to film. He will be studying it and looking at exactly what Kyler Murray did to expose this defense. And also, he's going to prepare notes for his defense. Like, hey, this is where they make their mistakes. I hope our defense really fine-tunes their game plan to go against this Rams offense, because this Rams team, as much as I'm glad they lost, they're going to be coming off of a loss that embarrassed them. They want to prove something on national TV, on primetime TV. They're going to want to prove something like, nah, that was a fluke. We about to handle this. And we need to make sure that we are ready for that. They're going to come out and try and punch us in the mouth. Hopefully Tyler Lockett is fully healthy. Hopefully DK, even though he said he's fine at the post-game press conference, and he said, to quote him when they asked asked about his injury, he said, I don't know what you're talking about, because it's never been listed as, an official injury. He looked a little banged up 2 weeks ago. Let's hope that he's not banged up. Let's hope that he's fine. Let's hope that, like I said, Tyler Lockett is fine. As far as Everett goes, I have not heard word on that. He went into COVID protocol last week. Hopefully he's getting better. If he's not, Disley is a fully capable tight end. He makes good plays when needed. And hopefully Collins and Carson play well. I know I named everything basically, but that's what you need to beat a team like the Rams. The Cardinals did it. They were lock and step. Their offense was incredible. They were running the ball like 180 yards combined between Edmonds and Connor. They threw the ball to everybody. AJ Green even had a touchdown. Dude's like 80 years old. Their defense played incredible. Seattle needs to do exactly what they did. They need to be on fire on all phases of the ball. Special teams, defense, offense. Do I think we can win the game? Yes, I think we're going to win this game 27-24, I'm sorry. And I think it's going to come down to that, 3 points difference. I think that Seattle can take this because we're at home in primetime, and we play different in primetime at home. The fans will be there. Seattle's going to be ready. Pete Carroll's going to have his team ready. And I think, so one last thing to end y'all with, our offense looks good at moments and it looks bad at moments, right? And everybody's like, well, we started fast, we failed in week 1. We got the win, luckily. Started fast, failed in week 2, didn't get the win. Started fast, didn't get the win, week 3. Started slow, ended fast, week 4, got the win, right? So up and down, roller coaster, right? Here's the thing. I think Shane, our new offensive coordinator, he's a brand new offensive coordinator. So there's a thing with coaches, with the head coach at least. It's a given known knowledge that a head coach needs 3 years to fully make an impact on a team across the board everywhere. Now, that doesn't mean a head coach can't come in and immediately make an impact. My point is that to really ingrain his scheme, his play style, his culture, bring his players in, bring his staff in, get them all working together, 3 years. Now, for a coordinator, I doubt it's 3 years, but I would say you need more than 3 weeks. Off-season doesn't count. Like, I'm sorry. Off-season is how they get get that initial relationship. The off-season is like the dating period, right? And then the very beginning of the season is the honeymoon phase. Things look good right away. And then suddenly there's struggles like a marriage will have. Right now, we just need them to work it out and be like, all right, let's figure out what we need to do right to make this work. Shane is a really good offensive coordinator, and I have faith in him. He's just getting used to this team. Our team is getting used to him. Give them time to gel. When we're good, we look really good. So I have faith that once they all get on the same page, they get their shit together, and everybody's playing in sync, this offense can be serious for 4 quarters out of a game. The question is, can this defense continue what they did last week or this week that just passed, and play really well when needed, get turnovers when needed? That's the crucial part. Deep down inside, I wish we would have went and got Dan Quinn in the offseason. Seeing what he's doing over there with Dallas, look, you can say whatever you want about Dan Quinn's head coach career. It was a little bit of I know that they, went to the Super Bowl and they blew it in the Super Bowl, and that's fine. And you could be like, well, outside of that, they were terrible. Shut up, Siri. Outside of that, they didn't look so good and whatever. But as a defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn has shown nothing but excellence. With Seattle, he was the defensive coordinator for one of the greatest defenses of all time. And the personnel was a big part of that, but the defensive coordinator is. Right now we have Ken Norton Jr., and our defense looks like they don't know what they're doing sometimes. Their play calling is terrible. We play off the line of scrimmage when we don't have the skills to do that. And we had the big blown coverage yesterday, which probably was from play calling. And then Dallas, who had one of the worst defenses last year, now has one of the best defenses. And the one thing that changed was bringing in Dan Quinn. I wish Seattle would have went and got Dan Quinn this offseason when he was back on the market. Bring him back home and got rid of Ken Norton. But it is what it is. This is where we're at. I'll be honest, though. The end of this season, if this defense doesn't get figured out before the end of the season, Ken Norton's got to go. I know that the reason he's even still here is because even though we started off as the worst defense last year, we ended as the best sack defense and the top 3 scoring defense for the last 7 games of the season. However, this is more important. I don't care about the last 7 games right now. I care about from this moment on. So defense needs to get figured out. All right, I don't want to keep you guys any longer. This is longer than I wanted to be here, 20 minutes, but it was worth it. Seahawk Talk with me. Make sure you tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays for the podcast, MVP News, the NFL podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, like the list goes on. We talk everything football, not just Seahawks, that's me, but on the podcast we talk about all teams. Tune in, make sure you follow, subscribe, do all that, and I'll catch you guys later.